Hey everyone, welcome to Damai Scaling YouTube channel. I'm your host Eddie Wang, and for the past week I have seen some people saying that Katon is trash, and Katon meaning this stance right here from Kunimitsu is bad, all options from it are interruptible, and blah blah blah, the usual stuff of I do not understand Kuni right now, so this tool sucks. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that don't bother saying that Kuni stuff sucks, because she is indeed new, and as you progress, because this is a character that you're gonna have to lab a lot to understand most of the stuff that she does. So the tools, or where you utilize some of the tools, is something that you're gonna start to come into your way over time. So Katon is indeed a good stance, and I think it's actually one of her best stances. It's on par easily with Setsunagake and the Urakanin, in my opinion, because of the crashing alone that this gives, and I'm going to show you in this video today why. So some people say that Katon is trash because all options are interruptible, right? But Katon isn't something that comes alone as a package. Despite being alone, is already a very scary option, because she from Katon has a dive kick, right? And this dive kick is a hit confirmable string that launches. She also has a load that doesn't do much, and she has a counter hit that leads like to guaranteed follow-ups in Fubuki Ni, or also gives guaranteed 2-2, gives guaranteed 4-2, and gives guaranteed punishing on 1-2, right? We all know that Kunimitsu can do this, despite this not being much used. So and some people say that this string is very interruptible, so I have a bunch of examples right here, which I'm going to show you why Katon is very dangerous. For example, one of the worst things that you can do against Katon is to jab, and jab isn't really something that you should try against Katon for this very specific reason. For example, if I'm trying to apply pressure with Kunimitsu and I get 2-2 into Katon, right, I can just disappear and launch my opponent for trying to retaliate with a jab. So jab is the worst option that you can throw when Kunimitsu enters Katon from, for example, at 2-2. And well, yeah man, but I can just really magic 4 out of this and get out of like of the Katon stance, right? So you're gonna have to react to it, because if you don't react to it, well, Kunimitsu is still going to kick your ass anyway. For example, let's say that you have now a magic 4, right? And magic 4 indeed is going to beat Katon options, but if you are still going to access it from a jab, it doesn't matter, because Kunimitsu is still going to kick your ass for doing it. So let's say that you have a read that when she enters Katon, she is going to go in the air, so you're gonna have to use your magic 4, right? Because magic 4 is going to beat the teleport, except if she delays it. She's still going to launch you anyway for you to try to magic 4 and out of the air. Of course, this is going to be less likely, because Kunimitsu tends to disappear before she sees the animation of stuff, but it's still possible to teleport and kick you out of the way. So, and even if they doesn't really go in the air, she still has Katon 2, which we are going to see it later on, which is going to beat everything that is a high, right? So the best option that you get to utilize against Katon is going to be a mid, and it has to be a mid with a high hitbox, and it has to be a lot of active frames, in except of one. For example, if I try to do Katon now, I'm going to get hit by whatever I try. For example, this, I'm getting hit by it. As you guys are seeing, I'm getting hit by this stuff, right? But then I can just do this and counter hit people for trying to respond to my Katon. What the hell did just happen? Well, instead of using 2-2, which is much faster, 1-1 is also a high mid, but it's much slower, so it tends to hit on timings where you can interrupt Kunimitsu with in this example Brian's back one, right? But this isn't all. Let's say, yeah, I can see that he did that and did that. For example, let's say I'm still going to do 2-2, right? I'm still going to do 2-2 and he's going to back one, for example, to avoid the Katon. So I can just do this, sidestep, launch. Just as that. Why did that happen? Because he is too worried about Katon. And if you let Kunimitsu be in Katon before you do a back one in this example, then her Katon one is going to counter hit you for trying to wait out the animation before you do, because this is going to be much faster once she enters Katon. So you're gonna have to back one before she enters Katon, because if you let her enter Katon, then GG's. This is going to connect. So this is just one example, but this doesn't come alone. This can also be made, for example, from this one right here, which in comparison is still going to do the exact same thing. For example, I can do this. Oh, it's time to back one. Okay, he gave me a guaranteed kunai. Of course, he can still interrupt, right? He can still interrupt because he's going to do this before I even do the Katon, but I can just sidestep launch, or I can just finish my string. I can just do this. I can just do this, and these are options that you're gonna have to worry about before you interrupt Kunimitsu on Katon. And guess what? Are you really too mashy with the buttons? Well, I'm just going to delete this and going to launch you anyway for you, because you are too worried about Katon. So don't be too worried about Katon. Kunimitsu will only launch you if you are those people that play Tekken like 2D. You don't like to sidestep, you are pressing jabs all the time, you are doing mids all the time on every single situation, you are attacking low, then this stance is going to be a nightmare. So now I'm going to show you a different stuff that Kunimitsu can do when she does a Katon 2. Alright, now into some serious stuff. So we all know, Kuni mains know about this, that when you hit Katon 2, if they don't take, you can pick up with Tensho Kaisen, right, for a combo. You can also pick up with down back to 4 and then Tensho Kaisen, which will also be guaranteed. If you do it fast enough, the Tensho Kaisen, then you can get like guaranteed combos, right? And a Scrappy would appear and say, yeah, we all know this since day one, so to this point we really just take Kunimitsu out so that she doesn't get a real combo. Of course, people are right. You can indeed take this stuff in order to cancel the combo that Kunimitsu can get from it if you don't take. But here's the deal. When you take this, you are forced to take, right? Kunimitsu actually gains a mix-up. So I'm going to show you what happens when you take out of Katon 2. Welcome to the world of the cross-subs. And if you do not understand what this is, then you are already doomed. So a cross-sub, it's a accidental mechanic that came along with Street Fighter, and it exists on every single game that is hold back to block. So every game that you back to block, there is a cross-up. So Tekken is no exception in this case, because you can actually jump into some people's back when they are laid down, and while they are laid down, you jump on their back and you connect something like a standing 2, a crochet or a duck jab, right, which is usually made with 2 while the character is landing, and then you launch with a 14 to 15 frame move against those characters. This concept is called reverse guarding, but in 2D fighting games, when you jump into others people's back, you can connect a kick as you cross the axis of the character, and this concept is called cross up. So whenever Kunimitsu does this, she can actually cross you up with Setsunagake and hit you shadow strike, not exactly on the back, but if you hold back and she does a cross up, you will indeed be recognizing her doing forward, so the cross up hits anyway. So in order to block the shadow strike, you're gonna have to hold forward. But even if you guess right, Kunimitsu is still going to throw you just for you to try to block shadow strike. And even then, if you are trying to take, she can still zoom capoeira, just like the main man used to sing. And it's incredibly annoying, and you might be thinking, well then, so all I have to do is whenever I take this, I hold forward, so Kunimitsu doesn't really cross me up, right? Well, it should be, except that while she does this, she can also really just cancel the Setsunagake earlier and hit you with shadow strike anyway by not crossing up. So this is indeed a legit 50-50 that has so many options, and this isn't the only thing that she can do from it. She can also go for like hop kicks, she can go for lows, and she can even throw you in this side as well when she doesn't really cross you up. So there is really no point in trying to take the throw, because if she gets right on the side that she wants to be, she is still going to be able to throw you regardless. The only thing Kunimitsu can do to mess this up is by not doing the input correctly. So by then she can actually not throw you, because to make this consistent, she has to tap down in order to cancel the Setsunagake on the same side, which she cancels earlier, and she can cancel the Western instance into the throw. But she can actually do this on either direction and still grab you, so to let you know. So it doesn't really matter to what side you are going to take. If you are going to take right, she can still cross you up anyways and hit you, and even if you don't, she is still going to do this anyway and hit you on the exact same side by taking advantage of the camera. So this is a pretty strong mix-up, and I believe is one of her strongest options, because we know that Arsalam Ash came up with this, right? The full crush mix-up, that when you connect a 4-4-2, you can go into Setsunagake for a mix-up, but she doesn't switch sides. So only thing you have to do is either you block the throw, or you block the shadow strike from Urakarin, or you block the low. But this is much more dangerous, because now she can switch sides if she pleases, and she can control which side she is going to go. And it's incredibly annoying to deal with, because not only you're gonna have to guess between a mid that you're gonna have to duck, a low that is going to force you to commit to this duck, you're gonna have to stand to block the mid, not duck, stand to block the mid, then she can throw you, and it can also be left right. So it doesn't really matter which side you can go. Kunimitsu can really just annoy you with mix-up. So this is indeed insane. So how do you do this? You just sidestep to one side, and then you do Setsunagake, and she is going to cross if you do this well. And if you want to stay on the same side, you do set into sit, and she is going to sit right before she covers the rest of the distance, and she is going to end up in the Urakarin stance. The only drawback of this is that if you sit on Setsunagake, you won't be able to grab people immediately, because she is going to be in a while standing stance, so she can really not enter throws. But there is a way to set up the Setsunagake to not cross, which is by doing a longer side step, and then you do a full Setsunagake, and when they think about it, you just use the throw and it's going to connect, because you didn't cancel with set to sit. So it's a really niche trick, and you can also stay on the same side by using the same setup, and then you can indeed go and and cancel into hop kicks or into enter the mix-up world of how do I say this? You can also do the full crouch mix-up and stuff, but you have to set it up in order to work pretty well, and she cannot do like Aurakar instance format, so it's kind of tricky knowing, but this is indeed legit. Either you cross or you don't, it's up to you, and your opponent is gonna have to guess between left, right, standing guard or crouch guard. So it's one of the scariest mix-ups in the game that I have seen so far. So this is the video for today. Hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys on the next Monday. If you are a Kuni main, don't forget to hit your like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell, because we upload Kunimitsu's videos every week. So see you guys real soon.